start with making sure that you're keeping what you know about the customer in mind with that product. So, hey, we have an app that you can use for payment on site at various locations. Just remember that I eat at the same place almost every day, right? It's a simple thing, but that's just capturing that individual user's data and making those experiences extremely simple and straightforward. After that, then it goes to broadening out to the collection of data, right, across.
Sports site, okay? So if you go to the sports site and check, let's just name some names, okay? CBS Sports, for example. I'm not calling out anybody, but if you go to their website to check the score, turns out your browser is not just connecting to CBS Sports. It's actually connecting to about 40 to 50 other sites that you have no idea. Okay, it's all happening in the background. That by in of itself is not a big deal. But what we found was many of those sites are running really, really old software. Okay, stuff from 2007. Okay, and that's really, really bad. So if I was a bad guy, I wouldn't go after CBS Sports. I would go after one of these old ad networks or one of these servers that are running in somebody's garage that hasn't been patched for 10 years. Then I would place a malware there, and that's how.
Yeah, we'd love to have you. Certainly come to San Jose, bring your business. We love you and your tax revenue. But we really want to be the place where you launch, where you beta test and demonstrate. And so please reach out to us with your ideas and let's see how we can work together. Shireen Santashan is over here, Chief Innovation Officer. Thank you for waving, Shireen. She's the really smart one on the team.
Which we think is kind of like an interesting area that we are looking at fairly quickly. And then I think if you look at the professional side, manufacturing I think is really spending a ton of money in instrumenting everything and measuring that. And infrastructure in particular is going to get very exciting. I think there was some discussion about that earlier, where you can put sensors on almost everything, bridges, roads, not just to get.
It's actually a fairly good history in the IoT world. We went from connecting a bunch of little cheap things to actually getting to the bigger problems. We're actually looking at lots of sensors, advanced telemetry, and gear that's previously not connected to the internet.
I think there's next generation ideas coming out in that space too. But as I said, mobile is the face of cloud, and the mobile operating system is a huge surface for attacks. And there's also a huge opportunity in terms of experiences that you can create that really differentiate from the traditional web user interfaces that people are used to on desktop.
Modern operating systems like iOS, Android, or Windows. I'm talking about the Windows, new Windows operating system. There are more than 10 devices on the smartphone device itself. And if you look at the desktops, which is like PCs, there are more than 300 million now on Windows 10.
So we look forward to your entries. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Harbir Bhatia, Tycon Media Lounge Chair.
Media is a critical part of any marketing or corporate strategy. If there is no media chatter,
People power. Let's give him a round of applause. So it's actually Gene Wang's band, and he's very multi-talented. He's actually on the content team as well as the fact that he's an artist. So definitely come check them out at 6:30. You're going to have a lot of fun. After that, we've got something even more lined up for you. It is our fashion show. We have an exclusive event tonight for all our attendees with 5 designers, 40 models, amazing musicians and artists from all around the world. We start with Swapan Gandhi, who is a well-renowned musician from Berkeley. And then we have Lex Lu.
Dreams into goals. And yes, there is a difference between a dream and a goal. A dream is something very aspirational. It's hard to touch. It's kind of out there, still a little bit on the crazy side, hard to pin down. But a goal is a little bit more tangible, something measurable that can be broken down into steps. Now, for using as an example, Elon Musk, he says he wanted to change the world with the electric car. Well, first he started with the Tesla Roadster, just to prove to himself and to the rest of the world he can create a cool electric car. But then that went to building the S, building the X, and now just recently with the Model 3 he announced it, and he's got something like $2 billion in back orders. Clearly will change the world with the electric car. Now for me, my dream was to be an Olympian. Now, that's a pretty esoteric thing to be an Olympian, but you actually have to pick a sport. You see some future unicorns. As long as you're making progress along the way, you're making a step towards your dream. So that's dream. How about change? How does that fit into the picture? Now, who says when there's a fork in the road, you have to choose? I would argue to take both paths. In fact, you should always say yes to as many opportunities as you can, and pivot only if you have to. Be ready to change course. So for me, one path to the Olympics was through field hockey, and I was well on my way. But I tried another one too. There was an essay contest to be a tour spirit at the 1980 Olympics, and I just finished filling out all these college essays, so I was a typical college student, and I kind of repurposed one of my essays, and it looked pretty good, and I submitted it. Well, I won. And I was the California representative to the Lake Placid Olympics, which was in 19. So I just dream more.
So write it down and look at it, right? Good, great, thank you. Okay, I hear that because you are so gracious to came here, you came also as a sponsor, JetBlue. Have you been to the JetBlue lounge, by the way?
Yeah.
So I heard that you have a special for everyone who has come to TiCon.
Yeah, so there's a...
What is it?
So first of all, I hope you all do get to go by our booth and sit in our men's seats that are there. So we just announced, I'm able to share with you that if you are a frequent flyer on any airline and it achieved any kind of status whatsoever, silver, gold, plat, whatever it may be, premier, no matter what airline it is, and if you go to the booth tomorrow, we will give you automatic Mosaic status, which will get you in the lines faster. You'll get through the lines faster. You'll get free bags, much better check-in process. So you'll become an automatic Mosaic on JetBlue at the booth tomorrow.
Just educating us on like Video 360, immersive VR, what it can take.
If you look at the storytelling and how storytelling has evolved over time, from oral tradition to written word, and then to radio and television, and all this technology is trying to bring the viewer closer to the character, closer and more involved. And VR videos are the next step, bringing the immersing the viewer into the story itself,
feel as if they're gone.
Will have some kind of a, there'll be some gradation between these. So sometimes you have a lot of immersion and not so much user control, or you might have a lot of user control, whatever. You have different amounts that go into the experience. And the other key important thing that I wanted to mention is when people talk about virtual reality, is it really something that really does not exist? So it's truly virtual. So there's no way you can actually ever go to that place in reality other than in your VR world? Or is it something that is there, but you're just bringing an experience?
It's no fun, Let him explain and let him say. So here we have folks, so it's about not one entrepreneur talking, but about 3 entrepreneurs sharing the experiences with you. This is about the audience, and this is about giving back. That's what Rajasva says, give it back, being a yogi here, So Gaurav Manglik is another guy who is a very, very good friend of ours. His company, ClickArt, just got sold to Cisco, and a fantastic story. So I thought about this, make it a very interactive session.
And I don't have a badge or anything. And he liked me so much, he said, that's very entrepreneurial, so why don't you join us today? So that's Rick Hill.
Gaurav Manglik.
Thank you, Adil. And first of all, I'd like to say it's a privilege to be on the stage with Rick and Adil, iconic. I was reading that, and that's really where things started, and I said I'm going to come here and try to start a company.
Thank you, Gaurav. So, once again,
go through some of the examples of models that we've been able to train, and then how we apply those in different Google problems. So one of the first things that we did was work with our speech recognition team to deploy neural networks as a key component in the speech recognition system. So essentially you're trying to go from audio to a transcript of what that person actually said. Go from that acoustic input, which has frequencies and time, and how cold is it outside is the output you want. And by using neural nets, we're actually able to train a much better speech recognition system and reduce the errors by more than 30%. And the system works better. Google Photos allows you to upload your photos and then manage them and share them with people. But one of the nice features it has is the ability to search your photos based on what's in them without you having to type them. And it's able to do that because we have a neural net that can map from the raw pixels of an image, so down on the left, even though that's not a great photograph, it's kind of white and has a little exposure, we can still say that photo is a picture of an ocean. And that allows you as a user to take all the photos you've taken and search them based on it. The recent success of our DeepMind group in London in playing the board game of Go, which has been one of the last holdouts for human board games in terms of being much more difficult than chess. We recently defeated the world champion, Lisa Dahl, in Korea. And one of the key components of that was essentially a neural net that could observe any Go board configuration. And for all the empty squares where you might move, predict the probability of where, if you go here, your probability of winning is 83%. If you go here, your probability of winning is 4%. And so it allows you to get kind of that human intuition when you're an expert Go player of just glancing at the board position and saying, oh, these are the 3 or 4 places on the board I should really think about going in. I shouldn't think about going anywhere else because those ones are not going to be good moves. And that's a really key component because the game of Go has so many possible spaces to explore, you can't possibly simulate all the different paths of where you might move where you're going. Another thing that we have done is launched a feature called Smart Reply. Because actually Google's April Fool's joke in 2009. We said, haha, we're going to produce the software that will reply to your emails for you. But then we actually decided we could do it. And so we launched this last November. And essentially what this
test it, and this lady comes out with her gungat, like her sari is pulled up to here, and she's wearing a sari. So she looks at the bike and she's like, "How am I supposed to pedal? How you pedal in a sari?" So nobody ever thought of that question, and now we had to take it back and put these like stockings on the pedals so that when she puts her feet in, she won't be exposed and she can pedal in comfort.
Package on the planes very rapidly. And FedEx couldn't get this to happen fast enough, and it was causing major bottlenecks. And they tried everything they could think of to solve this problem. It just couldn't go fast enough. And then one day, someone pointed out that the workers who were loading onto these planes, they were being paid hourly. In other words, they got paid more if they spent longer putting packages on. So FedEx tried switching it to pay them a fixed cost for the whole night and let them go home as soon as they were finished. And magically the problem solved itself. In other words, management didn't have to figure.
There is an overlap and potentially growth. While, of course, there are lots of communities on the pure chat and messaging and so on and so forth. But I firmly believe there is a convergence that's waiting to be unlocked.
So what I'm hearing is communities are here to stay. They're combining the physical with the online, and it's really what's allowing all of you to grow and grow and scale. And I think all of you really like it.
Fast forward to 2015, Pinterest every day goes through 50 terabytes of data, and this is just one company alone. So that's huge. For comparison, the US Congress of Library has about 10 terabytes of data, so you can see the scale of what the data we have today is able to do. And so when you think about the job of someone who goes through data, your job as an insights analyst or someone on the brand team or your email marketing team, your product team, is to use this data to create a cohesive story for your end user. And your end user always wants to know what the answer is. So they don't care how you got there, but they want to know what's the ROI, what does my customer audience look like, how am I going to scale, things like that. And these questions at base are pretty simple, and you can use data to answer all of them. So you can't really disrupt.
Help me raise sales of over $5,000 and profits of over $4,500. My dad says that one of the keys to my success is that I was never afraid of trying new things. You don't have to be a professional to build a successful product or business. Amateurs starting Google and Apple. Professionals build a Titanic. What made me most happy is that I was able to help the kids in Texas Children's Hospital. With the help of a matching donor, we donated $6,200. And I helped raise another $50,000 entrepreneurship. A world where successful kid and adult entrepreneurs I realize that people spend the first half of their life saying that they're too young, and the second half saying that they're too old. Being an entrepreneur takes values and mindset that transcends age, gender, wealth, education, and geography. I would like to share with you May's first goal, Get Inspired, with season 1 of a video series called Get Made, where I interview successful kid entrepreneurs and their parents to inspire other kid and parent teams. Let me show you the season 1 trailer. What do you get when you mix kid, entrepreneurship, and stories? Thank you. And I have just one more message. Get made!
So let's look at the types of diabetes. Type 1 diabetes, 5 to 10% of cases of diabetes are type 1 diabetes. It's an autoimmune disease in which the body's defense system attacks the insulin-producing beta cells in the pancreas. The cause is still not fully understood, and it mainly affects young adults and children. Type 2 diabetes, however, is more common. 90+% of diabetes cases are type 2 diabetes. The causes include excess body weight, physical inactivity, and poor nutrition. However, it can be cured or controlled by a healthy diet, increased physical activity, and the maintenance of a normal body weight.
But then when I was talking with my peers, it came to me that lots of people were having problems with the antiquated rubber bike law that we were still using since like the 1970s. So I was wondering, how can we advance with all the technology we have bike locks and still keep it affordable? And this is where our team came together and leveraged 21st century technology to make a smart bike lock that's affordable. So what are the advantages of a lock? So the first and most important advantage of a lock is that it's automatic. And what that means is that using near-field communication technology, the user simply has to leave the bike and it automatically locks lock will automatically arm itself. This is going to, prevent events such as me forgetting.
Our system matches drivers or volunteers to pick up items from the patrons and transport them to recipients. In return, they will receive community service hours or a cut of the money, as well as the satisfaction of helping out those in need. Benefits of our idea. Patrons save time, can benefit off their unwanted items, and have control over the entire process from start to finish. The recipients save time and money because they don't need to actually search for the items themselves, and also are able to express their need clearly. Currently,
our solution is a cloud solution that eliminates the need for you to stand in line for sneakers, and it can be expanded to other markets also. So the benefits of our solution are it's safe, secure, quick, and easy to use.
There is a $12 billion business opportunity, and we want 3% of the market, which is $25 billion. So the top two brands, Jordan and Adidas, make up $11 billion, and the special releases are around $4 billion. So under the assumption that around the average shoe is $200 per shoe, that's 20 million pairs. So we want 3% of that, and that'll get us to 12 million.
So our pricing model is a pay-per-use tiered pricing model. It's based on affordability, and it ranges from $20 to $45. So suppose the cost of the shoe is $300 or less, we're going to charge $20 to process that
from $2 million to $12 million in the span of 4 years. This also means our customers have to go from 50,000 to 300,000, also in the span of 4 years. We're just targeting teenage boys and anyone who has an interest in high-end athletic shoes. We plan to market through social marketing and references through like YouTube channels and friends and family.
Okay, so our timeline is, right now we currently have a beta version of this that runs on our computer, and then in July of 2016 we're going to put it into the cloud, and we're also going to be attending the TYE summer camp. And around October 2016, we're going to have our product ready for launch, and in July, we're also going to have our friends use this, because a lot of our friends really like these shoes, and around 50% of our schools said they buy these types of shoes, so we're going to have beta testing with them.
We're not going to ask for any money over here. All we're going to ask for is mentorship. We need mentorship to run a profitable business. We need mentorship to validate our business models, help us get into different markets that we're not as familiar with.
The unsaid and the unmentionable. What pre-mortems do is they make sure you don't take the off-ramp to a disaster. In closing, I'd advise you to use pre-mortems selectively for important decisions. Don't use it like Tylenol for every single thing you do. Finally, what pre-mortems do is, executives who scale, they're damn good at planning the wedding. Wedding in real life is about song and dance. In organizations, it's about the rollout on day one. But what employees are interested in is not the wedding, but the marriage. In real life, marriage has to do with boring things like, do we have one bank account or do we have two bank accounts? So how do you get executives to move from wedding mode into marriage planning mode? And the pre-mortem is a technique that helps them to do that. Thank you so very, very much.
And they are a little bit of, I guess, mismatch there, but Indians are much more fluent in English. Okay? And actually this is where we're now going from economics to sociology. Indians actually have more stable family structures, high rates of marriage, low rates of divorce, and this also actually contributes to their economic success. So what's going to happen? Interestingly, Asians are projected to become the largest immigrant group by mid-century, and by 2065 they will constitute 38% of the immigrant population. Indian Americans are a major part of that, as I've noted, and Indian Americans, this is excluding Mexico, you can see that Indian Americans are settling all over the country. You saw that in the county map earlier too. That was the stock. This is the new flow. So you're going to see Indian Americans.
But a big reason for the success of this conference is you, the participants who come from the Valley, from the rest of the United States, and from 22 other countries every year. The fact that this is a huge investment of time and money on your part to come to this conference. And it's really humbling that more than 4,000 of you chose to make that investment. Please give yourself, and we decided to refresh our look to prepare us for the next 25 years. And refreshing the look starts with a new logo.
Position as the world's largest network of entrepreneurs united in purpose to help each other, the board believed the time was right as we prepare to celebrate our 25th anniversary to revisit our logo to ensure that it reflected the global, diverse, youthful, and vibrant brand that we are today.
The idea of this brand refresh was to go beyond, to come up with a brand that is going to be very inclusive, is going to appeal to the younger audience, is going to be modern, not today, but will last us for the next 25 years.
And our new logo symbolizes just that.
chapters, 17 countries, making a huge impact in the communities they operate in. As we enter the 25th year milestone, it's time to acknowledge the incredible contribution of leaders that have brought entire Silicon Valley to this stage. May I request the former presidents of Silicon Valley to come on stage in the reverse chronological order. Vish Mishra, please. Raj Jaswal. Sridhar Iyengar. Kailash Joshi. And that person was introduced to TIE 14 years ago by Vish Mishra. In fact, Vish has been responsible for bringing a lot of volunteers to TIE. So may I request Vish Mishra to first come here, and then may I request Bharat Kamdar to come here, please. You know, those who have had the privilege of hearing him before would attest to the fact that the impact and the impression that he makes after you listen to him is incredible. And after you listen to a person, that kind of person, you realize why Nobel Prize winners really are amazing individuals. I'm particularly proud of him because he happens to also be from Madhya Pradesh. In fact, he happened to go to a college that I'm very familiar with because it was a sort of a neighboring engineering college. And he comes from a place called Vidisha in Madhya Pradesh. Now, Vidisha otherwise does not have, a great reputation because this is the place where they dragged out Raj Kapoor from the train and beat him up. That was their idea of fun. But as they say, this Kichad mein Kamal, Kailash was a student leader at an early age. His leadership was acknowledged. He solved that problem of why people used to stop the trains and get irritated because there was no train service there. He just told us the story yesterday. And he worked as a student in engineering college, he worked with the Railway Board of India to come up with a very innovative solution to that problem so that people from Vidisha can go to the nearest big station, which was big city, which was Bhopal. And this was just the beginning. We are incredibly proud and we are privileged to have Kailash Satyarthi in our midst. Before I call him on the stage, to the most successful international entrepreneurs. Who are those people? And that is something which you did. The image of India has been changed because of you. And we all are proud of you. Dear friends, another reason which brought me here, I see some similarities. Because that power you bring here is the power of leadership. You are leaders, change makers, game changers. You are innovators, you are entrepreneurs. You are angel investors, you are risk takers, you are innovators. But most importantly, I feel that wherever you have gone, Many of you have settled down in this valley. Besides so many other things and your talent, you brought the deeper value of humanity, the deeper value of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which taught us that whole family, whole world is like my family. And you keep this value inside you. And that's why you have brought prosperity to this nation, as it is also the part of your family. Something is similar, I feel, one of you. As an engineer, my own struggle and risk-taking, contacted some of my lawyer friends. They suggested that there is a provision, habeas corpus petition. So I used that law and went to the High Court of Delhi with my friends. High Court took serious note of it, and we were able to free Sabo and 36 more children, women and men. I felt that I am seeing the glimpses of God on the faces of those innocent children, the smile of freedom.